You could take it from a woman who's in the situation you want to be in, or you can call up a guy in a three-piece suit. And he don't even want to talk to you if you overweight. He's like, you could lose weight. That's the number one thing you need to do. I can't even help you out. I cannot help you if you haven't lost the weight, right? It's like Dr. Umar being like, are you white? I cannot help you if you are white, right? I cannot help you if you are married to a white person, right? He cannot help you. This dude is telling y'all I can't help y'all out, but y'all call and y'all listen and y'all watch for advice from this person. And he has a lot of great things to say, but y'all not gonna take his advice. You're not gonna take his advice. But that's where the delusion comes in.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I would say I'm a 9 or even a 10.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Let's get right into it, right? Are Black women delusional? A lot of you were telling me that I should go check out Kevin Samuels' videos. And I did. This video is a little harder to make than some of my other ones because, not because of the content or what I'm going to say, but just given everything that's going on and like who I am wants to coddle and cajole, and I feel like I've gotten over that, but I want to support, right? I've always wanted to support Black women, where I've seen other people constantly telling you you're overweight, you're not feminine, you're not going to be able to get a man. Things that I heard growing up and things that were said to me as well when I was growing up that, you know, greatly impacted my sense of self-worth in this world. And so I've always wanted to offer Black women something else, something different. Everyone, honestly, not just Black women. I have a lot of different people on my channel and I want to offer that to everyone. And I always have, because I feel like people deserve to like have a place that they come to that they don't have to feel like they're being told that they're not good enough, right? But it's like, y'all like that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, I'm not talking about my top tier steelies. But yeah, if you don't hang out around here regularly, if you don't hang out around people who uplift Black women and Black women's image and don't condescend and put down Black women in the process of doing that 24/7, because there's people who allege to be uplifting you, but seem to always be tearing you down as well. And a lot of that has to do with self-hate. But yeah, are Black women delusional? So I start watching Kevin Samuels' videos. And so, yeah, it's not going to be an opinion that I think a lot of you would necessarily agree with or expect coming from me. But I agree with a lot that he has to say. I agree with a lot that he has to say. The thing is, you'd rather hear it from him, and you'd rather hear it from people who will be claiming to try to help y'all out, but it's so easy to put y'all down. So why not do it? It's entertaining. It makes money. And he alleges that he's not trying to like put people down or whatever, but I mean, whoo, right? He goes in and it goes in where you really feel bad for these oftentimes young Black women. Oftentimes it's Black women in their 20s, mid to late 20s. I hear a lot of Black women in their mid to late 20s or even early 30s. You know, they're calling and looking for advice. But like he says, you gotta pay me for my time, which, you know, I respect that. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with that. That's something I definitely agree with. Are Black women delusional? I'm gonna speak for myself first. I think that I've definitely been delusional. There's been times when I've been delusional and I had an idea of the world that wasn't true, and an idea of the world that was limited to my, at the time, limited circumstances, limited experiences. And as I've grown and gotten older and matured and experienced more things and different people, then that broadens, and I'm able to see just how limited my scope on life really was. And so I think that Black women can be delusional. Yeah, because a lot have a very limited scope on life, right? They know what they've seen, where they've grown up, and the people that they've been surrounded by, right? And a lot of Black women will tell you that they grew up, they at predominantly Black schools. So even when and if they go to college, oftentimes they don't bond or connect with non-Black people on campus, basically, right? And that's a mistake. That's a big mistake. I would argue it's a colossal waste of time. Like, a part of the college package is the networking that you'll do. And nobody told me that. I just naturally go out of my way to meet people. And I've always never really had a choice in the matter. But that's just something that I've always done with ease, and I've noticed that most other Black people don't do with ease, and that's interact with non-Black people in a PWI or diverse space, right? Or if they do too much. I feel like sometimes there were times when I was doing way too much, just like overcompensating and want to seem needy or pushy or clingy or whatever, right? I get that. But when you go to college, you go there not just for the education, but you really truly go to make connections with people. And if nobody has told you guys that, I'm telling you that now. It's not lost on me the fact that Kevin emphasizes this on his channel as well, which is like how difficult it would be for a woman in her 30s up to meet a guy who is making figures in the top 10% of society. And that oftentimes those men end up meeting their wives in college. So I've talked about that as well on my channel multiple times, right? I talk about that if you're young, you need to be making connections in college. Somebody could very well be husband potential up in there. And same for guys. Don't miss out on that opportunity. As you get older, those connections snip, 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 and break away. And I know it doesn't seem like that when you're in your 20s, but when you get to your 30s, you will notice you don't really know a lot of people that you knew when you were in college. So get to know a lot of people and network. Don't look at it as making friendships. Really look at it as networking, because you could meet a potential husband, life partner, whatever, that way. I talk about that. And I feel like a lot of other people don't really talk about that. But that is a very big reality. For some reason, you don't want to hear it from me. I wouldn't tell you that you were overweight, you're fat, right? The way he will so bluntly put it. I won't be making all types of noises behind you to tell you it, but that's how y'all like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all like it like that. Hey, baby, I like it like that. Y'all like it like that, right? Baby. Well, that was a popular song back in the day. And it's sad that you guys like it like that. Certainly, it's entertaining, certainly. But to be the people on the other side, right, who the show is about. And I just started watching him literally 2 days ago, and it's fascinating to me. It really is. And what is most fascinating to me is that you have these Black women calling into this show and asking, pleading, begging for dating and marriage advice. But they seem to have so much that would make them not need to call into the show or to even watch the show, right? Like, one of the reasons I don't make all these dating videos 24/7 is because I figured it out. I keep telling y'all that. And I tell people in my real life that as well. I figured it out. So I don't need to watch those kinds of videos. I figured it out a long time ago. I've been with my husband for 10 years. It don't faze me if people don't want to take the advice of a married Black woman in a hypergamous interracial relationship who went to college, who went to undergrad and grad school and got her degrees and lives a very different life than she lived growing up in the foster care system, it does not faze me that people in my real life and people anywhere else think they can get better advice from elsewhere. So get it. I still haven't seen the rings and the marriages. I still haven't seen it. I still haven't seen the fairy tale. You can check my channel. If you want to check the channel, you can check the channel. I had a fairy tale wedding. Yeah, I did. And, you know, I married a man that I know is very smart and, you know, is the type of husband that I want and is the type of father I want for my children. So you could take it from a woman who's in the situation you want to be in, or you can call up a guy in a 3-piece suit who don't give a fuck about you anyway, right? Because the majority of us are overweight and or fat and or obese and or morbidly obese. And he don't even want to talk to you if you overweight. He's like, you could lose weight. That's the number one thing you need to do. I can't even help you out. I cannot help you if you haven't lost the weight, right? It's like Dr. Umar being like, are you white? I cannot help you if you are white, right? Cannot help you if you are married to a white person, right? He cannot help you. This dude is telling y'all I can't help y'all out, but y'all call and y'all listen and y'all watch for advice from this person. And he has a lot of great things to say, but y'all not gonna take his advice. You're not gonna take his advice. That's where the delusion comes in, right? Because if you were raised in a, you know, he'll often ask, like, where's your dad, right? And if he asked me that, I'd be like, in hell. I don't know, right? Are we statistically supposed to know where our dads are? Because I thought most of us didn't know and didn't care. I know I don't. Most of the women that call in, they'll be like, yes, I did have a dad, right? So if you had a daddy, then why is you calling this nigga? If you had a dad, why is you calling another grown-ass man who is your dad, around your dad's age? You can just ask your dad these things. And that's another point he'll make. He'll be like, well, if you had a dad, then why didn't he tell you not to marry to a loser or have children out of wedlock or whatever? If you had a dad, right? Get married to a man twice your age. All of these crazy things that you guys say when you call into his show. It doesn't make sense because I know a good amount of black women that grew up with dads. And they talk to their dads about dating and marriage advice. They don't get it from YouTube. So that doesn't add up. That doesn't add up. And then you have a lot of times, a girl will call in and he'll be like, what are you? What are you on a scale of 1 to 10? And don't say 7 because I hate 7. And then the girl will be like,
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I would say I'm a 9 or even a 10.
I've never seen a 9 or 10 like behave that way. Like, it's not just what you look like or how hard you worked in school. It's an entire package, right? That's what he's telling you. And there's no way that you're insecure and calling in on his show and had a daddy, but bypassed your daddy, didn't listen to your daddy who raised you, and now you calling him, and you a 9 or 10. A 9 or 10 wouldn't be calling the show. That's how he knows automatically that you're not a 9 or 10. So yeah, you know, there's definitely a lot of delusion. And finally, I'm going to end it with this. I think that a lot of our delusion comes from the ego. I think that a lot of times when you have to form your own self-esteem in a society that basically tells you that you're not the standard of beauty, you're not the classic beauty, you have to be twerking and shaking and oiled up like a Roman gladiator to like get some respect or some attention. I think that when you do so much work to feel like somebody in a society that does that, and black women, we have to do a lot of work, especially if we're not born into families that nurture and support and guide us, which a lot of us aren't. We have to then do a lot of work on our own to build our self-esteem, which, believe it or not, even though it's self-esteem, is not entirely dictated by the self. So when we do this work, we take on an idea of, and this is not unique to me, a lot of philosophers talk about this in terms of the ego, right? Which is when you have overcome something, the ego tells you how amazing you are and how unique you are. And so we then delude ourselves into thinking that the ego is the self and that who we think we are is what is being projected and what other people are seeing. And that's not always the case. So you end up developing, and I wish I could explain that in better terms, but I'll definitely talk about that more. You end up getting this type of a God complex when you have to save yourself so much. You really do. And you gotta check that, because it's not that everyone shouldn't think that they're 10, because they should. But when it comes to dating and marriage and relationships, now you're bringing someone else into the scene. And so things change, right? And now it's not just the world that you live in and what you want, because there's another person. So keep that in mind when we talk about the ego. And, someone like me personally, I've had several ego deaths, right? Which is basically when you understand just how big and bold your ego is, and then it comes crumbling down. That takes a lot of work, but I think it definitely has helped. Look into that kind of stuff if you want. I think that the delusion can be worked on. You want to know what's going on with the world, not just your world. So that's something that Black women should work on. In terms of how he talks to Black women, I cannot help y'all. That's how a lot of dudes talk to y'all, and I noticed that. If you don't want to be alone, if you want to call in on a show where he proves that that's how he talks to people and think that you're special, there's really been some cases where it was like, what did you expect? You're calling and asking for dating advice and talking about how great of a catch you are when you just had a baby last month and y'all just broke up 2 weeks ago. Like, who wants that baggage? Who wants all that baggage? Y'all don't think about I don't know what y'all be thinking, but that's a part of being delusional. Deluded. I will no longer waste my time, because I spent years doing that, feeling for other people, or that's where the muling comes in, right? I'm supposed to come on here and be like, and look at you in your 3-piece suit, and you not married, and yeah, I could, but at the end of the day, whatever, it is what it is. So that's it on this one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.